Hello. So the subject that we will study today is informal forum. Sorry, informal forum. Informal forum, it is a group of people, leaders, members of government who get together to discuss certain topic. This allows to have a discussion and to form a dialogue without strict conventional form. This topic is totally related to the concept of interdependence. As you can read, interdependence is when a group in global politics rely on each other, have shared interests or have an impact on each other. We can then see many common points. We are going to focus on security as a global politic challenge, and the case study will be studied from several points of view, such as global, international, and national points of view. All of the previous concepts will be applied to the case study of the day, the Biarritz Summit led by G7 and its guests. First, let's have some historical background. The Group of Seven, or G7, informally brings together France, the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Canada. This major power, which represents 50% of the world economy, also share the value of freedom and democracy, as well as collective ambition to confront major global problems. Historically, the group was an informal bloc of liberal democracies created to discuss issues like international security, international economic governance, and energy and environmental policies. The homogeneous mix of members was initially intended to promote a sense of collective decision-making, except that they did not include crucial emerging world power from Asia and Africa. Following Russia's removal from the G8 in 2015 in response to Russia's annexation of the Crimea, leaders expect that the new G7 will be able to facilitate collective action much better as the group was more in agreement on its political objectives and national interests. But this decision is making some people sad. My question is, to what extent does G7 ensure that conflicts in the world are managed to ensure the security of the population? What is happening and with who? The summit of G7 heads of state and government took place in Biarritz from 24 to 26 August 2019. It marked the high point of the French presidency of the Group of Seven, which placed to fight against inequalities at the center of its reflections. The forum was not only attended by G7's members, France, the USA, the UK, Canada, Japan, Germany, and Italy, and also the European Union, but also by India, Spain, Australia, South Africa, Burkina Faso, Rwanda, Egypt, Chile, and Senegal, who were invited by French President Emmanuel Macron. The Biarritz Summit brings together partners countries, and key players in civil society to provide common responses, concrete answers to fight against all forms of inequality. What conflict is being discussed? The leaders of G7 countries have not reached an agreement on the measures to be taken against the fires in Amazon. But shortly before the end of the summit, Emmanuel Macron spoke at the press conference to announce the common decision to release 20 million euros in emergency aid, mainly to send Canada's water bombers plane based in the area. The head of state also announced that French military support will be present in the region in the coming hours. This decision protect the population around the Amazon rainforest, but also the world population by preserving the lungs of the earth. Another problem that was raised was the one about Ukraine and Crimea. A summit on Ukraine was planned for September 2019. As Russia is no longer part of G7 ex G8 since 2014, the Ukrainian case was not the central theme discussed at the summit. However, Emmanuel Macron announced during his press conference that the summit bringing together Ukrainian, Russian, German and French leaders will take place in September to advance toward peace in Ukraine. These conditions are in place for a useful summit, he said, adding that a date had been set by Angela Merkel, Vladimir Putin and the new Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The planned summit concerning Ukraine promotes peace between countries. There are some strange things that we can notice. The presence of India and other countries at the recent summit as observers also marked the G7 recognition of a new world order. However, it is interesting to note that the same group that outside Russia for violating international laws against Ukraine welcomed India to the summit with open arms. Despite his recent decision on Kashmir and Russia's support for the initiative. During this meeting, an unexpected event happened. Emmanuel Macron created a surprise on Sunday by inviting Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif to Biarritz to discuss a solution to the nuclear crisis. The French presidency quickly clarified that this visit took place at the initiative of Paris and not the G7. No meeting of Mohammad Javad Zarif is planned at this stage with the Americans, he said. He added. Relations between Washington and Tehran have been very tense since the removal in 2018 of the United States from the 2015 International Agreement on Iranian nuclear issue. In addition, the many sanctions against Iran are not helping. Donald Trump said Monday that he gave Emmanuel Macron the green light when he announced this surprise visit. I was aware of everything he was doing and I approve, the USA president said. Emmanuel Macron asked for my approval. I told him, is that what you want? Go ahead, he told the press. But he did not wish to meet Mohammad Javad Zarif, judging that it was too early. Despite the attempt of the French presidency to address the major problem between the United States and Iran, the conflict between the two countries was not resolved. It was at least raised. To conclude, we can see that the G7 allowed to discuss major conflict between countries. Most of the discussion lead to solutions that allow to protect the population. However, there are some of their actions that do not make much sense and that call into question the principle of the G7. Even if some problems are not completely solved, talking about the subject helps to awake the mind and make countries think about their behavior. Thank you.